This next question is, in what ways can you improve your ability to make the most of shot opportunities to ethically and effectively kill your target animal? Be sure to address any times you have missed an animal and reflect on what went wrong. Do you need more shooting practice, better decision making, more capable equipment, etc.? And what is your plan to improve in this area? So in a previous video, same challenge, but in a previous video, recent video, I addressed this a fair amount already, but I'll touch on it again. I feel like my ability to, I define it as patience, I guess, but I would say it's patience and shot selection. Um, is, I guess, what I would say is what helped me be more successful, take more ethical shots, and more effective at killing a target animal compared to previous years. Some of it had to do with equipment, more so of just my lack of practice with that equipment or my lack of knowledge of my limitations with that equipment. I feel like I've resolved majority of that. I again invested in a rifle that I bought and set up. Next step would be a chassis. The main reason chassis. So I really like the stock. The reason I got this Bagara, for people who want to know, it's a Wilderness Sierra. It's 6.5 PRC. It has an adjustable comb, so that I get a perfect height and level with the scope. The stock is actually really nice, especially for a factory gun. What the issue is the relation to the trigger, which is arguably the most important part of shooting a rifle, is your interaction, with the stock and the trigger, addressing, the stock and the trigger. So I have really fairly large palms but short fingers, and it's presented a few problems in numerous ways, but in particularly with shooting, I tend to have a lot of palm or surface area on the grip and not enough distance to the trigger where I have like a clean straight to the back, like 90-degree pull for the trigger. This is both handguns and rifles. So it is the case with my Bergara that I either have to sacrifice gripping the grip fully, like fully engaging the grip, and then sacrificing trigger pull, not being a full 90-degree trigger pull or straight back, or I have to, not have a full grip and, I guess not have an ideal grip on the stock, and I'm just, focusing on the trigger. That the latter tends to be the case where I'm focusing on a better trigger pull than I am holding the stock, but it kind of depends on the circumstances. If it's a standing shot, I'm typically, around 100 or within 100 yards, and that's when I've got a full grip and I'm not as worried about the trigger press. If it's anything supported, then it's typically, more focused on the trigger press. So, again, I've kind of addressed this in other videos related to this challenge, but a chassis would solve that issue, specifically a vertical grip, possibly an adjustable one, so that I could get that, engagement with the grip and the trigger perfect how I would want it to, regardless if it's a standing shot, prone or kneeling or whatever it may be. But the shot opportunities themselves, what the mindset that's really helped me to make better decisions and be more selective with my shots and the process is, one, slowing down and not, I used to get really excited and feel the urgency to make a quick decision in order to kill an animal, and it always ended up bad. I would either miss or I would wound the animal, and that just doesn't feel good. So what I've learned to do over time is kind of slow down, process what's happening in a fairly quick manner, but not in a erratic or urgent manner. But I feel like I've had the notion most of my life that as soon as deer, elk, or whatever see you, that they're out of there. Like, you got to move quick, and I don't think that's the case, because the last at least I don't know four big game animals that I've killed have all been, I feel like, due to me being more patient and processing what's happening in front of me and making, just kind of slowing down. And I guess what I was alluding to or getting at is that my process now, instead of saying, "Ooh, there's a big animal, or there's a buck, or there's a elk," um, do something now, hurrying, shoot, like just the urgency. I slow down and I have to think to myself, just not worrying about the animal itself per se. Of course, I'm worried about making a good shot, and that's literally what I'm thinking is my job is to execute a good shot. Everything else relies upon, my projectile, my arrow, my bullet, whatever else. It's my job to execute a good shot, and that everything else will take care of itself. So in order to make a good shot, I have had to practice enough in order to feel confident I can make that good shot. So archery is a really good example of this, of my process of how I make a good shot. And again, having that mindset of like, just focus on making a good shot and not, ooh, that's a big buck, or ooh, that's, the animal itself, and kind of losing sight and losing track and all of that commotion. But slowing down, making sure your shooting process is honed in, that you've practiced it enough, and having the mindset of like, I'm here to make a good shot and everything else will take care of itself. And again, not being overly urgent just because an elk or a deer may see you or suspect that you're there. A lot of times I think that they question their nose or may think something's there, but they haven't confirmed it with their eyes, and they want to confirm it with their eyes or something like that. So, for example, the first deer I ever killed was with a bow. He was moving towards me, and the wind was blowing in his face. It just happened to be like an ambush scenario that I couldn't necessarily play the wind. And he, got a whiff of me, had turned and started to, trot away. And when he turned, I stood up and I pulled my bow back and waited for him to stop, because I had the notion, or at least I felt like I knew that he was going to stop and turn around and look to see if he was in actual danger, is my theory at least. And sure enough, yeah, he turned, went away from me directly like this, and then turned broadside kind of up the hill. When he stopped, I shot him. And a similar thing happened to the buck I killed this year, where he kind of knew I was there, but stopped to look back to see, is this actually a threat to me? And that's when I killed him. So oftentimes I think animals, they don't quite know what's going on, and they may be confused, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and they may stop to look and listen or whatever else, and that's an opportunity to take shots like that. And those don't happen when you're being erratic and trying to take rushed shots. And I've had failures doing that kind of thing, where I'm taking rushed shots and wounded animals, and it doesn't feel good.